In the spring of 1989, Tiananmen Square in Beijing became the epicenter of a peaceful pro-democracy movement. Thousands of students, intellectuals, and ordinary citizens gathered, demanding political reform and greater freedoms. The atmosphere was hopeful, filled with chants, banners, and a shared vision for a better future. This was a moment of unity where voices rose together against oppression. As the protests persisted, the Chinese government began to respond with increasing hostility. Soldiers in uniform were deployed to the edges of the square, their presence a stark reminder of the regime's power. Despite the growing tension, the protesters remained defiant, standing their ground. The square became a battleground of wills, with the hopes of the people clashing against the might of the state. On the night of June 3, 1989, an eerie silence fell over Tiananmen Square. The protesters, aware of the impending danger, huddled together, lighting candles as symbols of hope and resistance. The quiet was unsettling, a calm before the storm. Whispers of fear and determination filled the air as the protesters braced themselves for what was to come. At dawn on June 4th, the military moved in with overwhelming force. Tanks rolled into the square, their presence signaling the start of a brutal crackdown. Soldiers armed with rifles and bayonets advanced, their faces masked by helmets. The protesters, though outnumbered and outgunned, stood their ground, their resolve unshaken even in the face of imminent danger. Chaos erupted as the soldiers opened fire on the unarmed crowd. Gunshots echoed through the square, mingling with the cries of the wounded and the desperate. Smoke filled the air, obscuring the carnage. People ran for their lives, but many fell, their bodies littering the ground. The once hopeful square had turned into a scene of unimaginable horror. As the violence subsided, the systematic removal of protesters began. Soldiers dragged individuals into waiting trucks, their faces filled with fear and confusion. Families cried out for their loved ones, but their pleas were ignored. The square, once a symbol of hope, had become a place of terror, where people vanished without a trace. By the end of the day, Tiananmen Square was eerily empty. The banners and posters lay abandoned, stained with blood. The silence was deafening, a stark reminder of the lives lost and the dreams shattered. The square, once filled with the voices of hope, now stood as a grim testament to the brutality of the regime. In the days that followed, families searched desperately for their missing loved ones. They carried photos, hoping for any sign of their whereabouts. Tears flowed freely as they faced the harsh reality of the disappearances. The government offered no answers, leaving the families to grapple with their grief and uncertainty in silence. The Chinese government swiftly moved to suppress all information about the events at Tiananmen Square. News broadcasts were censored, and officials denied any wrongdoing. The world was left in the dark as the regime worked to erase the memory of the massacre. The truth was buried, but the scars remained, etched into the hearts of those who witnessed it. The events of Tiananmen Square left a lasting legacy of silence. Memorials were held in secret, and stories were whispered among those who dared to remember. The square itself became a symbol of both hope and tragedy, a reminder of the cost of standing up for freedom. Though the government sought to erase the memory, the truth endured, carried in the hearts of those who would never forget.